Hey guys, so the other day I found this on the Steam store and it looked like it could be cool to record, so I decided it was a free game, so basically I didn't have to pay anything for it, so yeah, I thought it would be a cool let's play, um, if nothing else, and just the visual style intrigued me. I don't know what it's about, what it's in it, what anything really. I just sort of saw it on Steam. Not that looks interesting. It's just the title is Trick and Treat, so I think it might be a Halloween game or a horror game. I'm not sure. That's just off the bat. So I've set it up. Extras. What's soundtrack endings website? Okay. Might have a look at that afterwards. I'm just gonna start it. The sound of our steps combined with that of the occasional nocturnal animal is the only living thing we can hear. Okay, so we've got save, hide, Q save, auto jump, which I don't want to do, save, set. Oh, so you can hide. Huh, okay. It's terribly dark in this place. The dense vegetation makes it impossible to see the sky or light from the moon. Our flashlights are the only things that light up our way. At times like this, one begs to not run out of battery. We walk without knowing what we're really looking for, or better said, for no reason. We are just a group of boys bored with our lives, trying to create lasting memories on this, instead of just staying home doing nothing. Today is October 31, All Hallows Eve, better known as Halloween. So it is a Halloween game, confirmed. So this could be interesting. 3 young men walk through a dark but up until... Okay, 3 young men walk through a dark but up until now nothing special forest. Me being one of them. That's a very weird way of putting it. It's not a special forest, but okay. We are doing it to prove our courage. It's too bad. It's just too bad there isn't a girl here to see how brave we are. Seeing it like that, one could say this is a meaningless effort. For a moment, I stop to look at my watch. It's 1:49 a.m. That means we have been walking aimlessly for more than 2 hours now. I am sure that many people would find a place like this terrifying, but once you get used to it, the fear disappears, making it feel like normal. What makes us afraid of the dark is that we cannot know what hides in it, what lurks in the shadows. But this is clearly an empty darkness. At the moment, I sigh, feeling how tired my legs are. What is the point of being here? Clearly we had already demonstrated what we wanted. It would be best to return. Tell them. But I love this soundtrack as well. It's quite... It's not eerie, but... Wow. It's not scary music, but quite eerie. I like it. I was about to speak when suddenly the atmosphere in the forest becomes strange. Suddenly, a cold chill runs through my body. It was like any other chill, except it was not going away. It was like any other... Yeah. For no reason, the air's temperature dropped from one second to the other. So much so, my breath became visible, turning into mist. It doesn't end there. The air is now filling with a rotten smell, just a little short from being unbearable. Images of worms and flies soon appear in my mind, giving me a really unpleasant feeling. We all stop at that moment. Axel, what's happening? I asked, confused while turning to look at my friends. By the expression on their faces, it was easy to know that they were just as lost as I was. It was then that we heard footsteps nearby that did not come from any of us. Any of us. That's cool, the sounds. Oh, this game's really atmospheric. We all got dead quiet after that. I don't know if it was out of fear or to check if it was not a mistake. But we stayed motionless, like statues, without making a noise. Just looking at each other's faces, wondering the same thing. What was happening? As if I could know. We heard the steps again. They clearly belonged to a human, or at least to a large animal. But there is something strange about them. It sounds as if a person walking. It sounds as if the person walked, dragging one foot. Just thinking about it made me shiver. How does that make you shiver? It's someone's dragging their foot. Oh. Damn, why is this happening? It makes no sense. We should have returned home before, but now it's too late to regret it. I have the feeling that we are being stalked by someone. The strange footsteps stop, but I'm still feeling the presence nearby. I don't know where it is, but I know that it's looking at me. That cursed thing is looking at me. My heart is beating anxiously. It's almost as if my body was telling me to get out of there. But strangely, my friends seemed unable to perceive it. It seems that it's gone. It must have been just said one of them, convinced that we were safe. I would like to believe that too. We had a sigh of relief. However, bad luck would soon strike us again. Unexpectedly, the forest becomes darker than before in just the blink of an eye. But that wasn't the fault of the forest, but of our flashlight switch went out. Of the three, only one, mine, was still working. What's going on? Did the batteries die? Asked one of them, scared, while they both beat them desperately as if that was going to revive them. I can't blame them. The idea of walking in the darkness was not pleasant for anyone. But after a few moments, we had no choice. We resigned ourselves to that. Once more, the sound of our footsteps is heard. But the silence is different now. We are not quiet because we have nothing to say, but because we are afraid. We continue walking despite the fear that invades us. Visibility is almost zero, but we have no choice. In theory, we were walking back, looking for the exit, but I cannot remember anything of this. We couldn't be walking in circles, and I would never have noticed it until it is too late. I hate the thought of it. I just want to get out of here. Suddenly, thoughts of silence. We hear the footsteps as one. Once more, the three of us become statues, awaiting the presence to go. I hold my breath while feeling my heart beating anxiously. Damn, get away from here and leave us alone. Unexpectedly, the steps are heard closer. This time they do not disappear, but rather come at us. I can't stand it. Desperately, I move my flashlight everywhere, looking for the author of these footsteps. Hoping for the light to reveal their identity and erase our fears. Nothing. Is that all there is around here? Just empty air? My anxiety. Don't know how to say it. Grows with each failed attempt. I refuse to believe that it was a ghost. Suddenly, when I move the flashlight again, I see a silhouette. I could not distinguish what it was, but for a moment, the light revealed something. Quickly, I point to the same place, only to discover it was gone. I hold my breath anxiously. It was not an illusion. I am sure that I saw something. It was then that I hear something nearby. Without even thinking, I aim the light towards that place. What I found leaves us paralysed. with an expression of disbelief on our faces. It is a white cat with eyes of an intense red, which stands before us. Her look is not the friendliest to say something. Somehow, I get the feeling it's a female cat. Suddenly, she lets out a thunderous meow that leaves us terrified. It sounded more like a lion roaring than a simple cat. And the music's distant. The echo of her meow is heard throughout the forest, making it sound more sinister than it should be. It was then that suddenly an inexplicable something. Damn it! I skipped. I fall to the ground, and little by little my lids close. The fatigue becomes unbearable. I lose consciousness on the ground of the forest without knowing what was going to happen with me. Dude, before night falls. There's a day like any other, so normal that it was almost painful. The only special thing that could be said about it is that it's October 31st. So this is probably a different person speaking. Or it's the morning before the night, maybe? But for the memories when I was a kid, I went out with my friends to ask for sweets from house to house. Just remembering it made me sigh. I feel nostalgic. Some things were better when I was a child, or at least seems that way, like that. There were some who had good costumes, whether superheroes or monsters. My friends and I, on the other hand, had to use our imagination. Creativity was our costume, you could say, no matter how funny it could sound. My mother once painted red on my face. I remember that my mother once painted my face red and told me, "You will be the devil." But it seems only she saw it that way. When we went from home to home, everyone said I was the Tomato Man. But those things didn't matter to me since we always had a good time. If I asked for candy now, even if I had the best costume, I'm sure no one would give me anything, except perhaps a scolding for acting like a child when I am 17 years old. But anyway, I can't stay in the past. I must live in the present, no matter how little exciting that might be. Back to reality. We're a group of friends who don't have any plans for today. We are still not old enough to go to a disco, and I doubt guys as us would have any luck in that environment. The other option would be to go to a party, meet girls and have fun. Everything perfect, except that nobody has invited us. Not being popular has its disadvantages. Hey Axel, let's have a couple of matches, what do you say? My friend Steven called my attention while playing with the game console. So it's the group of friends the morning before the scene we just saw. So either this is a time travel backwards, or it's to show the leading up bit, maybe. I don't know, this is interesting. Rush Red. I believe that's what the game is called. Oh, okay. A fast and quite complicated fighting game for me. I would normally agree to play with him, but for some reason I don't feel in the mood today. I have no desire to play now. I replied with discouragement. I almost feel bad for doing it. Boring, the AI is no rival for me. Steven said with confidence. That you're playing on normal difficulty does not help your argument. I don't feel like losing, but if you want, you can challenge Alfred. So this game is obviously made by someone who is not a native speaker of English, because I've noticed a few errors in the sentencing, and when I booted up the game it offered me three choices: Spanish, English and something else, and I can't remember. And Spanish was the first one on the list, so I think it's a Spanish person who made this game. Which, there's only a few errors, and every time I will correct them slightly. I said leading the attention to my other friend. I don't know how to play that, answered Alfred, doubting for a second. He's sitting behind the PC, but it seems that he isn't doing anything interesting. The screen only shows a lot of text. I think he is on Wikipedia. Hey, don't you have something more fun to do? I asked with discouragement, without even thinking about what he was reading. Alfred looks at me, surprised. The actual problem of society is that people are not interested in discovering their history. He is one of those pseudo intellectuals, always looking for any rare information to appear smarter than others. When we forget our past mistakes, we are doomed to repeat them. He added later. Just from that phrase, it appears as if it's a time travel thing. Because of that sentence, it seems that you have to remember what you did the night after this morning to be able to do something right. So I think this is a time travel sort of thing. When the cat screamed, either I don't know. There's two theories. They go back in time, or they go into a like pseudo world where they are back in time, where they go back in time and figure stuff out to then come out of that pseudo world to be able to react to stuff. I'm not sure. He added later, what are you talking about? This village is small and its story is not interesting at all. Nothing outside of the normal has ever happened in it. Alfred laughs mockingly after hearing that. Your ignorance is worthy of praise. He pauses, filling his chest with pride. The very fact it is a small town is the reason it is full of mysteries. Did you know that 20 years ago on this day a man disappeared? So what about it? I ask without being impressed or even interested in the least. Things like that happen all the time in all places. As I thought, you don't know the history despite living in this very place. Alfred said, while adjusting his glasses in an arrogant gesture. There is a legend behind the disappearance. This is what I was reading. After listening to him, I looked back at the computer screen with curiosity. So this is probably the story of the cat. It's then that I noticed that it was not Wikipedia but some other page. Go on, read this and learn a little, Alfred said, inviting us to read what was on the screen. Both Stephen and I moved closer to read it. Town of Abingdon, Oxfordshire country. I don't know where that is. 1994. I came to this town with only 4,000 inhabitants to support them in an investigation. Truth is that never in my life have I seen something this strange. I won't say your typical detective-ish nonsense that I have seen thousands of strange things in my life. I've seen many crimes, yes. Some difficult to solve, but all of them were human. Even if they don't know how they managed to perpetrate the crime, you know that they are people like anyone else. In this case, I don't think I'm able to say the same thing. Truth is that I can't understand what happened. I was called for the disappearance of a man. I didn't mean to do that. I don't know. Didn't mean to do that. I left-clicked. Right-clicked instead of left-clicked. I was called for the disappearance of a man named Matthew Graham. 23 years. Single. The last time he was seen, he was returning home from a Halloween party. But he had drank alcohol, but was still sober. Or at least that's what witnesses said. No way. This is not something which can be explained with simple drunkenness. He apparently got lost on the way home and decided to enter the forest called Oakwood. This is the forest the group of friends were in at the start. It had rained yesterday, so the ground was wet and muddy. We could easily find his traces, which were leading deep inside the forest. Apparently, he walked 3 hours before stopping. So for him, it was 3 hours. For the group of friends, it was 2. I say stop, but the truth is we don't know what happened to them. Happened then. The tracks suddenly ended up in a clearing in the forest, and that's all. There was no evidence of struggle, no other trace, or pieces of clothing on the ground. There was no blood, no more footprints, or anything else. The depth of his last footprints and the position they were in indicated that he was still walking. At no point he stood still. It was as if he had vaporized in the air, with all his clothes, in the middle of his walk. Obviously I can't believe such a thing, but I can give another explanation. The only thing I remember is that near the footprints I sensed a faint smell of rot. However, there were no animal corpses nearby. It is ridiculous to think he suddenly started to decay and became earth. So it took him 2 hours, and it took 3 hours, and it took the group of friends 2 hours. This could be explained. The difference in time, it could be explained by 3 things, possibly. One, the forest has got smaller over the course of the years. The thing that strikes doesn't happen in that only clearing, or what's the other thing? I don't know. In the end, the case was closed in just 3 days. No evidence of any kind. We couldn't say anything but that he decided to escape from the village. However, while officially there was no more to do, I couldn't sleep in peace. Thinking about what could have happened to him took away my sleep. In my mind, I thought all sorts of theories. Like maybe everything was a plan developed by Matthew, but in the end they all seemed impossible. I decided to investigate more on the issue. I searched the town for similar stories, and to my surprise, I found 4 more. All young men. The story was always the same. They walked into the forest alone, disappearing without trace. Even more curious is that all of them disappeared on the same date, October 31st. There is more. A detail that completely eliminates the possibility that there is a kidnapper or killer. That there is a killer or kidnapper behind this, and that is the separation of the years. Roger Bacon disappeared in 1924. Mitchell Smith disappeared in 1867. Jason Black disappeared in 1813. And the worst of all, Oswald Taylor disappeared in 1707. There could be an explanation of how this works, but it's so far-fetched that it can't. It's very unlikely. Is that someone started it, and through the things, it's the descendants of that person that continued it. It's not likely in any scenario. Definitely not in this story. But it's the only possibility that could be explained through normal real life. That's the only thing. Whereas in this game, it could be. He says those are the reasons. The states can only lead to a supernatural cause, which could be an immortal, something that doesn't feel the toll of time, or just thing that gets invoked every Halloween. But what's bizarre is that there's not more instances of this. So the dates 1707, 1813, 1867, 1924. I think the dates are random. I don't think you can get it. So 1994, I think it was. So they separated the last, and the one before that are separated by 70 years. The one before that is separated by 60 years. One before that by 50. The one before that by about 100. So it's not, yeah. It simply couldn't be possible. My curiosity led me to dig deeper. I thought that the answer may be in the past of the forest. It was then when I discovered that what seemed to be a simple and boring forest actually hid a great story. Before it was called Oakwood, or Oaks Forest, the place was called Witchwood. The word witch has huge similarity with witch. Taking into consideration that it is an old name and language changes over time, that indicates that it was the Forest of Witches. Apparently, more than 400 years ago, the people of the village believed witches lived in the woods. Unfortunately, almost all the information is already lost. They were stories told in voice, without a properly written record. I just know with the change of religion to Christian, people stopped seeing the witches with good eyes and began to hunt them. Apparently, the last one before her death cast a curse on the forest, which even today should continue to exist. Anyway, obviously I cannot accept something like that as an answer. In the end, I have no other choice than accepting that each one of them escaped from the village, using the legend of the forest to make it look like it was something supernatural. Interesting story. I didn't know that such a story was hiding in this town, I said, honestly surprised. Even if it is a lie, it managed to hold my interest. Wait, there's something more, Alfred said at the same time he scrolls to the comments. We read what is written there. A couple of comments call our attention. Both of them talk about some creature. At that time, they felt a horrible fear for what could happen to them. While the two comments share great similarities, but they could have been written by the same person. There are many others that deny it. Looks like many people went to the forest because of the legend, but couldn't find anything. I thought that you only read these things to look more cool before the girls, replied Stephen as a joke. Alfred giggles with a little shame. Partly yes, he admitted. That was a secret everybody silently knew. Well. Now we have an activity for tonight, Stephen said at the same time he makes a face overflowing with the enthusiasm. What? I asked, completely lost. I thought we were just killing time. Simple. Let's go to the forest. To that forest. Stephen replied without hesitation. He seemed really fascinated by the story. Are you insane? Said Alfred, unable to believe what he just heard. You only need to look at his face to know he did not like the idea. Despite everything you've heard, you want to go. Of course, it would be a test of courage among us three, replied Stephen, full of confidence. Perhaps too much. He should relax a bit. Don't tell me you're afraid. I know. What? Why should I be afraid? Answered Alfred. At the same time, he folds his arms, making a false gesture of security. It's more than obvious that you are afraid, Alfred. Almost as much as when you have to talk with a girl. And what about you, Axel? Don't tell me you won't come. Suddenly Stephen asks me, at the same time looking at me mockingly. Don't tell me you want to be the chicken of the group. I hate that tone of voice you used. I will never give you that, I said without thinking, showing a confident smile and look. Well, let's not say more. Take your coats, backpacks, flashlights and some food. We are going to the forest, Stephen said, full of energy. Yeah, we three said in unison, as if we were going to have some kind of private party, not really knowing what we were doing or what we were going to find. This is some backstory. 2:13, that's after the cat appears. Okay, back in the forest. I awake completely confused, not knowing how much time has passed. So the scene we just saw was a flashback to give some story. Okay. I awake completely confused, not knowing how much time has passed. My head hurts like hell, but I can't blame it. Fortunately, the pain goes away quickly, just as my confusion. Soon, I come back to my senses. My flashlight is lying on the ground, shining towards the empty air. I immediately pick it up. It was my only protection against the dark that surrounds me. Then I remember that Stephen and Alfred were with me. Stephen, Alfred, can you hear me? Without thinking, I scream their names in the dark while trying to find them with my flashlight. But there is no trace of them. They are gone. What the hell? Where the hell are they? What the heck just happened? I really don't understand anything. Shit. We should have stayed at home. This is not a proof of courage. We could be in danger. I have to find them. 2:19 a.m. Is this someone else? Little time has passed since I started to look for my friends. I already can't stand this place. I'm going crazy in this forest. The darkness that covers it is unnatural. It is a darkness that steals your own sanity, replacing it with an anxiety. Anxiety, that's how you say it. Couldn't think. Ugh. To make it worse, the air is damp and cold as in winter, carrying a strong rot smell, as if there were corpses of animals hidden throughout the forest. The atmosphere in this place is oppressive. With every step you take, it makes you more uncomfortable. Since I started to look for my friends, I felt that something is watching me, but there is nothing. I sigh, with my voice full of frustration. I just want to get out of here. I continue walking, devoid of any hope. No matter where I look, or how much I walk, I find nothing. I cannot even hear the sounds of animals. Rather, it seems they are already dead and rotting. No, I have to calm myself, I said to myself. I stopped for a moment to rest. I breathed deeply, but the rotten air of this place does me no good. Immediately I started to cough, as if I had something stuck in the throat. Shit. What am I going to... Ugh, shit. What am I going to do? This cursed forest seems endless. And even if by miracle I could escape, I cannot abandon Stephen and Alfred. I really screwed up. Again, I sigh, feeling on the verge of tears. Why is he saying he screwed up? It wasn't his idea to go anyway. And how did he screw up? He fainted along with the two others. And I think what happened is that he got transported. Because the only thing is like teleportation or transportation to another world or place. And in all of the stories, it's only one person that's taken. There's three of them. Either they're all taken and they're just separated, or only Axel was taken. And if you remember, everyone who's gone looking can't find it. So maybe if you're unwilling to get there, they will take you. Because all of them aren't looking for it, but they get taken. And the ones that went looking didn't find anything. So maybe that's the reason no one could find it. I don't know. Back to the story. My frustration is building up, but I have to do my best to keep calm. If I fall into despair, then there is no doubt I will be joining the list of missing persons. In the end, I decide to keep walking. Step by step, I should get somewhere. At least I was convinced that staying in the same place would not do me any good. Even if it was only to deceive myself, feeling that I am doing something, I wanted to continue walking. Time passes without any change. Only the sound of my footsteps can be heard. Knowing that as soon as you stop, you will be surrounded by a dead silence. Knowing that as soon as you stop, you will be surrounded by a dead silence is a good incentive to keep walking. But my legs were already hurting. Suddenly, I hear a crack at my feet. Instantly, I take a step back and look below to see what made that sound. "What is this?" I whispered to myself, surprised, discovering that I had stepped on animal bone. I believe that it's from an animal, although I do not rule out the possibility that it belongs to a person. But for my own good, I prefer not to think about that. An expression of anguish is drawn on my face. It is best to ignore it. I have to keep walking. Suddenly, my flashlight reveals something. Without hesitation, I point towards there again. It's the cat. Only to realise with surprise that it is the white cat. The one from before which made that awful meow, but this time I find it lying on the ground. It appears to have fainted and is wounded. Then what should I do? Ooh, so there are choices in this story. That's interesting. So you can ignore the cat or pick her up. Maybe it's... This is interesting. In the story, witches are the ones that curse the place. Maybe in the curse there's a way to remove it, and to do that you have to help a witch or something. There's a challenge to the curse. So maybe if you help it, it'll clear the curse and you'll be able to go back. So I'm going to go pick her up. It is best to continue without waking her. Cat is dangerous, and it's her fault where I ended up in this place and my friends are missing. But even knowing that, for some strange reason, I can't help but feel sorry for her. Even if it is unnatural, it is still an animal. I then bend down to see her closer. She is unconscious, and there is a thin line of blood coming from her mouth. I'm a real idiot, I said to myself. At the same time, I clean the blood from her mouth with a handkerchief that I had with me. Fortunately, she doesn't wake up. Can I just say it's ridiculous that he has a handkerchief? Unless it's like a tissue, in which case, yeah. No one now has a handkerchief. I then close her mouth, making her appearance a little better. Now she seems to be peacefully sleeping. Wow, you did nothing for her. What the After a long sigh, I decide to pick her up carefully. I don't know what the powers of this cat are, but if she brought me here, maybe she can return me to my world. With her in my arms, I decide the best thing I can do is to continue walking. Okay. 2:31 a.m. Again, I find myself in the dark forest, walking aimlessly. Only moving forward, but it didn't seem I was getting somewhere. In my arms, I carry the cat, which sleeps soundly. Come here you'll be safe. I suddenly stop. It was probably easy to see the disbelief on my face at that moment. It's that voice again. What voice? Since when did we... What? Up until now, there's been no voice. What? I whispered to myself with no one to listen to me. Shortly after I found the cat, a mysterious voice appeared in my mind. This is a feminine voice, soft and gentle, as if it belonged to a princess from a fairy tale. But I can't trust it. Am I really going crazy, or is it this forest that doesn't make any sense? Okay, so when he picked up the cat, there's a voice that appeared. So it's obviously the cat, which is a witch that's been that has transformed into a cat, and the voice is speaking to him since he picked up the cat. I think that could have been a better choice to integrate it into the story, but anyway. I don't know, but I don't like any of the two options. Then I then feel the cat move in my arms. I look down at her confused, just to see how she opens her red eyes suddenly. I become quiet at that instant. For a moment the two stay motionless, staring into the eyes of the other. The red eyes of the cat are disturbing to me, but also there is something fascinating about them, something that attracts me. I lose myself in her eyes as if hypnotized, until suddenly she jumps with the intention of scratching my face. My reflex is pushing her at the same time. I jump back, turning my head to dodge her claws. I manage to dodge her attack, but in the process I drop my flashlight. I panicked and acted clumsily. The flashlight falls near me, lighting up a tree in the vicinity. As soon as it left my hands, I remember how dense this normal darkness is. I quickly pick it up, not even thinking about before taking action. I then light the place where the cat was, only to discover she had arched her body angrily as if she feared an attack from me. Those red eyes stare at me, shining with the light of the flashlight as if they were jewels, reflecting a fearsome hatred and rejection towards me. So that's definitely the witch, and she is scared of other people because of what happened in the past. My body freezes after seeing them. I can't even think. The cat then lets out a thunderous meow, similar to the one before but weaker, although not any less frightening. There is no doubt there is something wrong with that animal. It must be cursed. I think it's her fault, that she must be some kind of evil spirit, a pet of the witches. I feel how panic seizes me. My heart beats quickly, begging me to do something. My mouth is dry and my forehead covered with cold sweat. What should I do? Ooh, escape from the cat or confront the cat? Escape from the cat. I think the only way to get out of this place is through the cat. Whether that is killing the cat or helping it, I don't know. So I'm going to confront it. I don't know what that does. No, I should not despair. I have to calm down and think carefully about what I should do. With that in mind, I take a deep breath and look again at her. Soon the expression in my eyes changes from fear to courage. I realise that it is only a cat, without a doubt a strange one, but my life is not actually in danger. There isn't a tiger staring at me, but a simple cat. Apparently her only power are those weird meows. If she could kill me, she would have already done it. So rule out that possibility. Her work must be transporting the next victim to this area of the forest, so natural and shady. After filling my lungs with air, I slowly walk towards the cat. Her meows get louder with every step, but I don't let them scare me. Seeing that I do not turn back, she slowly takes a step back. In my mind, I smiled at that image. The prey is now the hunter. I look at her directly while advancing. Little by little, her meows become weaker, as if she was losing strength. Then I suddenly jump and take her in my hands. She hardly resists at all. Not so tough now, right? You look better like this. She is trembling in my hands. She looks so helpless, and that I almost feel like a villain. But I must not forget all she has done is so far. It's her fault that I'm in this place. She brought me here. Then, if I kill her, would it be possible to go back? Would it be possible to go back? For a moment, the grim idea crossed my mind. I had never killed an animal. Truth is that I cannot be proud of myself in doing such a thing. But if I do, maybe this legend could end here and now. Then what should I do? Just keep her captured. I don't think killing her is the solution. It is only logical. The magic should die along with the cat. That should be my ticket back. If I kill her, everything would be over tonight and the legend would come to an end. I don't think that's true. I think what would happen is, because of what happened in the past where the villagers killed the witch, I think the only way to do it is to let the cat just transport you back and not kill her. Confident that it was for the best, I tried to view it in my mind, but no matter how hard I force myself to see it, in the end I am unable to take the life of another living being, even if it is a cursed cat serving a witch. I don't feel good killing her. I think I'm too nice for my own good. So the only thing that remains is to keep her with me, hoping that sooner or later she allows me to escape. I did it again. I'm back. With nothing more to think about, I decide the best thing to do is to continue my path. Okay. 2:41 AM. It's been a few minutes since I captured the cat. Again, I find myself walking with her in my arms, led by the strange voice. How long have I been walking in this forest? Apparently not enough to make me go mad, but should be close. Don't be afraid, come with me, I will help you. The voice sounds closer this time. It seems I am going in the right direction. I don't fully trust in it, but it's the best I have. At least at first glance, it seems a friendly voice. I am completely focused on my way when I suddenly feel something bite me. The cat. What the heck? I shout in pain, realising that the cat bit my arm. Fortunately, it wasn't a dangerous bite, but it sure was painful. With my distraction, Chuck takes the chance to jump from my arms, falling a few steps away from me. Quickly, I set my gaze upon her, furious. But soon, something happens that makes me forget about my anger. Suddenly, the cat is covered with a bright light, so much that it repels the unnatural darkness surrounding the forest, stealing my breath. Under the light, its figure gradually changes until it ceases to be a cat and becomes a human figure. So it's like I said. It's a cat that is a girl. No longer is their cat in front of me, but a girl with incredible beauty. It must really be going. I must really be going crazy. She has white hair and red eyes. She seems about my age. In other circumstances, I would have asked her out without hesitation. Just thinking about it makes me laugh to myself in my mind. Even at the edge of madness, it seems some things about me will never change. She approaches slowly towards me, one step at a time, with no fear. The girl then stares into my eyes with a slightly irritated face. Her lips are moving, she seems to be saying something, but I am unable to hear a sound. Are you trying to tell me something? I babbled, still confused with a face of disbelief which surely made me look stupid. Said the girl with a very low voice. I do not understand what she is saying. What? I can't hear you well. I asked, still confused. Suddenly, the girl pouts in a bad mood. What's wrong with you? Are you deaf? Finally, I could hear her clearly. And just in time, because it seems her patience was about to end. Okay, now I heard you, I said, annoyed. All of my astonishment from just a few seconds ago disappears when I see the arrogant attitude of the girl. At least now I don't think she will bite me, I hope. The girl then snorts with irritation. What annoying guy I had to find, she said at the time. She places her hand on her lips, making a pensive face. Wait, you shouldn't speak ill of someone you have right before you, I was quick to respond. For a moment I feel annoyed at the thought that I have to teach manners to this spirit, whatever she is. A pity so much beauty is wasted on someone so arrogant. The girl let out a snort of annoyance after hearing me. I'm sorry, it's a bad habit that I can't quit, she answered without sounding very repentant. Clearly a false apology. After talking, she diverts her gaze towards the surroundings, as if she was bored. I see, I replied, annoyed. I just met her, and I already feel I don't like her. But anyway, that doesn't matter. I must not forget who this girl is. She was the cat that started it all. Anyway, at least could you tell me why you attacked me and my friends? asked shortly after, acting more seriously. The greetings were over. It's time to get the important stuff. And why did you bite me if I wasn't doing anything? Before I knew it, my lips moved, asking another question. I cannot lie, I was angry. The girl then stares at my face. She blinks with curiosity before speaking. Does it hurt, the wound? She asked innocently. Yes. I was quick to respond with annoyance. I didn't need to say more. Of course it hurts me, silly cat. She looks at me in silence for a few seconds until suddenly she approaches me without any shyness or fear. Once on second thought, how could a simple human such as me scare a cat that can turn into a person? Show me your wound, said the girl once she stood right next to me. Her presence makes me nervous. This girl seemed to not know what personal space is. As embarrassing as it sounds, I had never had a girl this close. If only it wasn't in this forest. I don't know why I shouldn't do that, but strangely, something tells me that she has no bad intentions. The girl is surrounded by a calm aura, something pure, unlike anything else in this forest. In the end, resigning myself with a sigh, I show her my arm with the bite. Immediately, the girl sets her sight on my wound. It will only take a moment, she said with complete confidence. She looks up into my eyes. Could you close your eyes? She asks as she blushes slightly. I'm surprised to see that embarrassed face she has, even if just a little. Then I sigh, feeling something wasn't right, but there is nothing else I can do. Okay, I said, doing as she asked. I didn't know what to expect. For a moment I thought she would get naked or something. But what kind of magic can work only when you have no clothes? I don't know, but my mind sure wanted to imagine that. Come on, Axel, keep composure. Suddenly I feel something warm and wet touch my wound. Immediately I shudder. Wait, what are you doing? It's a stupid question because I knew well what she was doing. She was licking my wound. You idiot, who said you could watch? Was quick to respond the cat, with her cheeks red in embarrassment, her lips still close to my wound. She looked adorably troubled. Don't you see what I'm just trying to heal you? She then added in a bad mood. Sorry, I said, blushing. I thought you would do something more extraordinary, but now I'm not sure. Is she a girl who can transform into a cat, or a cat that can become a girl? Sorry to disappoint you, not being extraordinary enough, murmured the girl at the same time she gives me an annoyed look, red eyes shining with disgust. It is then that I realise that the pain has disappeared. With curiosity, I look where the wound was, only to discover that now there is no trace of it. For a couple of seconds, I stay silent, incredulous. It seems that your treatment worked, I finally said, grateful, still looking at the spot. But of course, I have experience healing myself, answered the girl, closing her eyes and inflating her chest to show her pride. I actually appreciate what she did, but I still wonder if she really had to lick it to cure me. I understand, but who are you? The girl makes a small snort with curiosity after hearing my question. Then she tilts her head and closes her eyes, making a thoughtful face. It seems I have not presented myself. She opens her eyes and gazes into mine. My name is Ashley. That's her name. I expected something more extravagant. My name is Axel. By the way, have you ever been accused of witchcraft? Before I knew it, I asked that question. I guess it was rather rude from me, completely lacking in manners. But I must not forget for even a second that I am in this cursed forest. Ashley suddenly becomes silent at plain sight. It was obvious she didn't take it well. She takes her time before responding. Yes, but that was a long time ago. So would that mean that she's the witch from before that she cursed herself? Why would she curse herself though? That seems weird. Then she closes her eyes and exhales, emptying her lungs. She seemed to be recalling something painful. Just seeing her made me feel guilty. I'm sorry, it was not my intention to make you remember it, I said, slightly remorseful. No doubt to be accused of witchcraft. To be accused of witchcraft must have been her. I can't speak. Wow. No doubt to be accused of witchcraft must have been a horrible experience. Ashley closes her eyes and nods a couple of times. It's okay, it's not like I can blame your curiosity seeing where we are. Then she looks at me closely with curious eyes. By the way, how do you know about me? Perhaps you are a sorcerer who has lived during these past centuries? She asked, narrowing her eyes, as if she was trying to see the inside of my mind. What kind of question is that? No, nothing like that, I answered at that moment. I'm just an ordinary person. I admitted boring. But she didn't need to know that. Oh, just a boring, ordinary person. It's just that there are stories about witches in this forest. But as you can see, the stories are not very convincing, or else I wouldn't be here. I explained, trying to remove any doubt that Ashley may have. Again, she closes her eyes and nods. I understand. She pauses and looks me in the eyes. It's because of those stupid myths that stupid humans come to this forest just like you. She then said, looking at me with rejection, Wait, what are you trying to say? We are to blame? I replied, feeling offended. Ashley suddenly looks at me disgusted. Are you an idiot? Yes, if you hadn't come, my existence would be nice and peaceful instead of this chaos that it is every year. She said, ending with a sigh of frustration. But you're the one who causes all of this. I was quick to respond. I don't even bother to hide my anger. I can't believe what she says. How arrogant can she be? Ashley opens her eyes wide, surprised. Then she looks at me with annoyance in her red eyes. Do you not understand, stupid human? Definitely, I don't like this girl. I'm only trying to protect you. Her words take me by surprise. Huh? I explained incredulously. You attack me and attack my friends only to protect us? Yes, she replied simply. She simply replied. At the same time, she nods, filled with pride and confidence. Okay, that's it. I'm getting out of here. I can't believe how arrogant and self-centered this girl is. After everything she did to me and my friends, I can't stand here any longer. Wait, I had only taken a few steps when I heard her calling me. She sounds really worried. You don't understand the real danger you're in here. I stop in my tracks as soon as I hear her. Real danger? I whispered, feeling some doubts. Suddenly I shiver. It doesn't look like she's lying. Yes, I tried to chase them away using illusions. Other times I hit them with my powers. And as a last resort, I scare them directly, as it was in your case. Ashley confessed, blushing a little as if she felt embarrassed of remembering. And why do you do that? I asked, confused. Something isn't right here. Ashley stares at me with her red eyes. If they continue with their curiosity, they will meet an evil entity that will take their lives. What you say doesn't sound very convincing. I immediately interrupted. The only evil entity here is you. Ashley shakes her head in denial. You are wrong. I am the good one. Then she said, looking into my eyes with a pure innocence in hers. Haha. You could only laugh at that comment. It had to be a joke. After doing all that, you say you're good. Don't laugh. I'm only trying to protect you, replied Ashley, furious, while waving her arms. She then crosses her arms and gives me an unpleased look. Do you expect me to believe that? I replied sarcastically. What she had said made no sense. But somehow she seemed oddly convinced it was the truth. She was surely a bit wrong in the head. But it's true. You have to believe me. This time she sounds really worried about me. I actually feel a little sorry for her. Ashley then stays silent, looking at me with poppy eyes. However, she soon recovers her proud attitude. If you want, hold my hand. I won't harm you, she suddenly says. I look carefully at her. She has a very arrogant face, as if it was a great honor to be able to touch her. You won't do anything strange? I asked, just trustful. But after seeing her again, I do not think she was lying. Ashley nods, full of confidence. I promise you. I stare at her for a few seconds, making sure there isn't a trap. Okay, but why do you want me to hold your hand? I ask at the same time. I extend my hand. Ashley opens her eyes, surprised. After hearing my question, then stares at me with annoyance. Oh, are you stupid? Obviously to guide you out of the forest, she said, just as she takes my hand in one quick move. I then find myself being dragged by this strange girl. But this is the opposite way from where the melodious voice comes, I said, looking back for a second. I felt really curious about who she was. You ignore that voice. It charms men to make them her victims. Think of it as the siren. Ashley explained in a bad mood, with her eyes always looking to the front. It seems she didn't get along with whoever that person or entity was. I did it again. Keep pressing left click. Right click. Wouldn't you be the one who collects souls of fools? I asked without thinking. I seriously need more experience when dealing with a girl. If only I were more popular. Ashley stops suddenly. She then turns at me, showing me a furious face. You idiot, I already said I'm the good one. For a moment I thought she was going to hit me on the head, but fortunately she stopped before doing so, or biting me again. Okay, I meekly respond as if I were a scolded child. But if you eat me, I will make sure to give you the worst indigestion of in your life. You idiot, I don't eat humans, replied Ashley, ending with an arrogant snort. 3:11 a.m. Ugh, that's long. I ran out of breath there. Okay, so I'm going to end this episode here. I'm going to continue in the next episode. Hope you enjoy it. It's interesting. I like the visual aspect of this. There's a few choices in there, but most of the story is like there. I wonder if you do different choices, whether or not you get different branches of the story. So if you don't pick up the cat and just leave it, you go and die maybe, or if you run away from the cat, whether or not you run towards the melodious voice and then you die. I don't know. Could be. I think this is going to be interesting. And I wonder what happened. Right, back. We just left off at 3:11 a.m. So we're going to continue now. In the previous one, we found out the cat was actually a girl, or we're not quite sure if the cat was a cat that can turn into a girl, or that it was a girl that can transform into a cat. We also know that she's the good one, and the voice that we hear in our head is the bad one, apparently. She's a witch as well, and I think that's about it, really. She's now trying to take us out of the forest. Okay, 3:11 a.m. Several minutes had passed since I started to walk hand in hand with Ashley. At the beginning, I did not trust her at all, but the more time passed, the easier it was to believe her. I hadn't noticed before how comfortable her hand is, soft and pleasant to the touch. I blushed just thinking about it, even if she is a witch. She's a girl too, right? Then I sigh. Come on, Axel, composure, composure. With every step, the curse of the forest seemed to weaken. The atmosphere was less oppressive every minute, until finally I was able to forget about that unpleasant feeling. Before I noticed, the darkness had returned to normal, feeling only empty. The rotten smell also had disappeared without a trace. Now I could really say I was in an ordinary forest, even boring. But I could not be more grateful for that. Just a little more to get out, so let's keep moving. Then I set my sight on the back of Ashley, watching her walk in silence. She was completely focused on that simple thing. If you're the witch from the legend, why are you helping me? I suddenly asked, not thinking twice before it. I was really intrigued by that. Ashley stops and turns, looking at me with an angry face. Idiot, do you really think that all witches are evil? He was right. The general image of witches is not good, but it's not as if the stereotypes were truthful. Then she closes her eyes and makes an annoyed face. It's true that I had supernatural powers, but I never used them to do harm. Ashley lowers her sight and pauses. She suddenly looks sad. My only sin was being born in the time of the witch hunts. That's why I was condemned. That explains it well. I feel that I can trust she is good. But there is still one more question. And how did you end up becoming a cat? Ashley immediately blushes. She was so embarrassed that it was almost adorable. Almost. But before my execution, there was a cat watching in the distance, so I decided to transfer my soul to it, she explained, avoiding looking into my eyes. Of course, we now share the body we have, like a deal. The cat will be happy as long as it has something to eat and a place to sleep. I just try to provide her with all those needs, and in return, she lets me stay in her body. As she talks, she is blushing shyly. I see. I think it's a fair deal. Keep right clicking. I replied with a sincere smile. The truth is that I found it a little funny. It turns out that she is both a girl and a cat. That answers some questions. Ashley closes her eyes and nods a couple of times. When she wants to, she can be very cute. Too bad that happens so rarely. Not saying more, Ashley continues walking to the exit. This time I stay in silence. All that remains for me is to escape from this place. 3:15 AM. Oh, here we are, Ashley said just a few minutes after we talked. She isn't lying. I can see the end of the forest in the distance. I had to contain my desire to scream with joy at that moment. There must be 2 other humans close here, your friends. Go with them and return home. I hope that nobody else comes tonight. They'd give me a subtle farewell, but strangely she does not let go of my hand. She looks deeply into my eyes. Amazed, I notice the gentleness that reflects on them. Can you make me a promise? She suddenly said with an honest voice. It was no joke. What is it? I asked, full of curiosity. I don't know what I could do for a witch, but after helping me to escape, I think that she deserves me to hear her request. End this legend, she then murmured with an air of sadness. I can't understand why she asks for something like this. I want you to help me to keep people away. The legend only attracts more people, as in your case. I need to kill it, replacing the supernatural danger with a human danger. A human danger? Do you want to scare them with ordinary dangers, as thieves or ferocious animals? On second thought, there is a logic in what you asked. If you remove the element of magic and only leave the danger, then exploring the forest is not worth the risk. Ashley nods, and then looks into my eyes, blushing. Yes, exactly, she said, pleased. Okay, I'll do it. You can rely on me. I responded with determination. I wanted her to know how serious I was. That it was not a promise I would forget as soon as I got out of the forest. Thank you. She then closes her eyes momentarily and inflates her chest with pride. You aren't as stupid as I thought. I should have expected something like that. Hey, I told you not to talk ill of someone when they're in front of you, I complained angrily. This cat, Scale, simply will never change. After seeing my reaction, Ashley cannot help but laugh. I'm sorry, haha. The first time I've seen her so happy. That made me blush. Ashley looked unexpectedly adorable at that moment. My heart was nervously beating as if I was with a normal girl. Suddenly she stares at me and gets so close her face is less than an inch from mine. Again she demonstrates not knowing what personal space is, but this time I don't know whether to be angry or thankful. Having her so close, a beautiful girl, makes me very nervous. This is the farewell, she suddenly said. She then brings her lips to my cheek and gives me a tender kiss. Everything becomes white at that moment. Everything loses its colour. Everything is gone. Everything. 318. I am outside the forest. I have no idea of how I made it here, but this is no illusion. I am bewildered as if I had been sleepwalking. Axel. It's definitely... I just saw... That sentence just confirmed to me it's a Spanish person who created this game. The upside apostrophes is a Spanish thing. So it's definitely someone Spanish that made the game. Suddenly I hear someone calling my name. But it's not any strange voice. It's the voice of my friends who are looking for me. Hey, over here, I shout without a second of hesitation. With a bit of clumsiness because of my confusion. Soon they found me and impatiently ran towards me. Where were you? The worry was killing us, Stephen said with a face that I don't remember having ever seen before. Before answering, I rubbed my forehead. Within the forest, I couldn't find the exit. Alfred was about to say something, but before that, I interrupted him. Anyway, it doesn't matter, I was just lost. The important thing is that we are all safe. Yes, you're right. Hey, don't you feel like we are forgetting something? Alfred murmured at the same time. He lowers his sight, pensive. Suddenly a blurry image appears in my mind. It was white and bright, but I can't remember more. However, that weak memory awakes a strange feeling of nostalgia in me. It was as if I had lost something, but what could it be? Anyway, we should go home. This has gone too far for a test of courage, I said with no intention of spending one more minute in this forest. They both agree with me, but with nothing else to say, we can only return home. By the way, guys, we should write on that page to not go to that forest. Forget about the witches, somebody might not get lost there, as it happened to me. It was a miracle that I came out alive with that beast lurking around. Before knowing it, my lips moved. Why did I say that? I have no idea, but something inside inspired me to do so. To be honest, I have no memory of the beast I speak of. All I can remember is that it has red eyes and white fur, but nothing more. Then I remember something. I think it was a promise I made to... Wait, to whom had I made that promise? I think about it for a moment, in silence. But in the end, I can't remember a thing. No matter, all I know is that I got out, and I'll never come back here again. Forgot, but... Extras. Soundtrack. Come play with me. Despair, triumph, anguish, groove, grove, drums of the deep, brittle dream culture. Forgotten Adventures. There's 7 endings to this. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna add this on to the first episodes, because I did 11 minutes and the last one was an hour. So I'm gonna add this on to the last episode, and I'll try and... What I'm gonna do is unlock all the endings. So what I'm gonna do is go through it quite quickly, because we know the story now. It's just to unlock all the endings. So there was 2, 3 choices in there that can change the outcome. So that would make 6 endings. What? No, there's 7. Huh. So there's obviously one way you make the promise, one way you don't, and one way you die, possibly. So that's at least 3. So this is very interesting, I've got to say. Good story. Wow. That was good. So I'm gonna add this to the last recording I did, because I did a recording and then left it that was so close to the end. I didn't know how long this was gonna be, so I'm gonna go through it again and try and get all the endings. I'll probably do like one episode for each ending. That was good. So yeah, that was interesting, very interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. Hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed it a lot. I've also almost lost my voice because I've been speaking for about an hour and a quarter. So speaking constantly for an hour is quite a long time. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna record the other endings another day because my voice is struggling. So yeah, yeah. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment below saying what you enjoyed about it. And try it out for yourselves. Very interesting game. I'll try and leave the link in the description if I can find it. Yeah. See ya.